product, and the thing that I like most about it is Novell's got this new theory. They don't care anymore what operating system you run their product on. Used to be that you had to have a Novell server, you had to then load whatever on top of it. Now, if you run eDirectory, it doesn't matter what platform you're on. 3.0, which is what we're using currently, is actually going to be updated to 3.1 at the end of this month. Also, you'll hear me refer to this as NIMS and NetMail. They're both the same. What happens is NIMS was their initial product, which was Novell's internet messaging system. They decided that they got too many questions about the IM part of NIMS. People thought it was an instant messenger. It doesn't. There is no instant messenger feature to it. So they said, you know what? When 3.1 comes out, we're changing the name. It becomes NetMail at the end of June when 3.1 gets released. You won't see any difference. The one thing that will be added in 3.1 will be Windows support. You'll be able to load this on top of your Windows 2000 box if you're running eDirectory. Okay? We have tested it both on NetWare and Linux. We ran it on Red Hat 7.2, ran it for about a month as a test. The reason that we decided to go with Novell as our operating system on that server is because we like the feature of having salvage. You know, we don't have to go to tape after stuff is purged. We can run salvage first if the user purchases it, I should say, not the server. So we could just run salvage on the server, just retrieve their mail if they've deleted it by accident. Okay, Linux didn't give us that support, and actually Novell, believe it or not, is actually a little bit faster than Linux on this application. Not by much, but you know, you can use it. AIX, Solaris is also supported. Okay, I will try not to read the slides because I know most of you are reading them as I go along. But some of the other great things in the product are they're all standards based. You know, I love the web client. I use the web client for everything. But I have people who don't like the web client, want to use Outlook, or they like Eudora or Pegasus, or like Squirrel Mail. You can use any of those. If you so desire, you could use Pine to view this mail. Why you would want to use Pine, I don't know. But since it meets all the standards, you can use it. The other great thing is 3.1 will have Palm support. You'll be able to sync your Palm Pilot with the calendar that's in the system, the address book, all that. It meets the iCal standard that is still to this day not defined. iCal has never finalized their standard. This is at whatever their last iteration was. Okay, I'm trying to go through my notes here. Most of this presentation came directly from Novell. I talked to the guys who programmed this. If you go out to nimsinfo.com, you can join the mailing list. The guys on that mailing list are the programmers. If you know anybody from Novell in the programming section, Dave Latimer, Lynn Madsen, Peter Dennis Bartok, they're all on that mailing list, and they all will answer development questions. That's how a lot of stuff gets added in to the new product. It gets requested by people who are on that mailing list, and they figure out, can they do it in the next iteration? So, but it is very secure. You can actually run it over SSL, so it has SSL support to it. Scalability. Right now, I don't know how it works in the corporate world because we have a Novell license. Right? We have unlimited users for anything Novell at Emory University. But I know in the new release, there is what they're considering like a business package, and they actually name it NetMail XE, where if it's a small company, they can actually buy like a 15-user license or 30-user license if that's what they need. So they have changed their pricing structure. 3.1, I haven't seen all the information on it yet, but I have seen bits and pieces of it. So I didn't put it in because I didn't have all the info to give everybody. Again, here's all the stuff that it does support, all the standards. LDAP is what we use primarily. As soon as I put a user into our Novell tree, they appear in the address book, and they have a Novell account, and they have an email account. So we did our incoming student class last weekend. We did them Thursday afternoon, created all their accounts, sent them mail. I had new students who have not set foot in the building yet using the mail system Monday morning. So, you know, they're happy that they already have their mail account, and also Student Affairs is happy because they have one easy way of contacting them. They don't have to build their own email database of students. They can just hit them from the system.
Now, how do you provide them their passwords?
We just sent out a regular paper mail. What they did was the Student Affairs office was sending out a little orientation.
You put your letter in your package?
Right, we just stuck our paragraph in there. And actually what we did this year was you would just use their social security number as their password, and, you know, once school starts, well, wait a second, once school starts though, like 2 weeks after school starts, all their passwords expire, so, go ahead.
Same type of thing, we just set password, require password change for logging in.
Right. Well, we didn't do it that way because we want to make sure that when they come to school during orientation, they can still log onto the computers without having to bother the help desk too much on the first day. So, and you know, what we do is when they come in for orientation, they get another computer packet from us, you know, physical, here's a folder full of information for you. One of those things will be your password will expire and how to change it. So, yeah. And also what is great is, I don't know how many people run Novell. After looking at Elmer's surveys, approximately 75% of all law schools run Novell in some capacity, whether it's a primary server or a secondary. But there's task-oriented management, I believe is what they'll refer to it as TOM. And what I can do is I can give TOM password authority to my help desk workers, which are student workers, and they can change anybody's password if they come up and ask for it. That's what we did before with Console 1. But Console 1 kind of gives them a little bit too much leeway, so all they can do now is it looks like the set password screen, but they put in the user's ID and change the password for them, so a little bit easier. Wireless access is being added, and it's been tested. I don't know if they finalized it yet. More of their features. Let's see. There is a calendaring system in this. It's not a great calendaring system. It's kind of basic, rudimentary calendaring. If I send somebody an appointment request and they accept it, it gets put on their calendar also. I don't think that there is actually like a notify message, like 15 minutes before that you get a notify. It's just for me, we use Meeting Maker at Emory for all of our calendaring, our primary stuff. But with this gives me the opportunity to keep like a personal calendar, and then when 3.1 comes out, I can sync it with my phone. Antivirus integration. This took a long time to get, antivirus integration, because nobody wanted to give Novell their API. But right now, after all the arguments, I think they support Sophos, McAfee. I wish I could remember. I can't remember all of them, but they do support like 4 or 5 different antivirus systems. And what you do is you plug the module into the email system, and it scans the mail as it comes in. So, nice feature. And that was one of the things that was requested off the list, and they worked hard. I think Norton is the people that gave them the most problem about the API, and they kind of just said, whatever, keep your antivirus to yourself, and we'll use whoever else will help us support it. Okay, this is basically what ships with it now. And actually, there's actually a 3.03 patch, which was just some other fixes. And then when it comes out the end of the month, it will actually be 3.1 and changed over to NetMail. The templates are cool if you can figure out how to compile them. So, all the platform supports Network 4.2, 5.1, 6. 5.0 is not supported due to service pack issues. And 6 is actually supporting it, and the nice thing in 6 is you'll get multi-processor support. 5 NIMs will not use a second processor. In 6 it will. And then you see Solaris, Linux, Windows is not on here because when I wrote this was all 3.0 based, but in the 3.1 release will be Windows supported. Okay, basically, where this works great for higher education, and actually, to me, they missed something here. They cover student to student, student to faculty, institution to student, and institution to alumni. They don't cover any of the staff interaction, but, you know, I'll forgive you for that one. But where this, let's see, educating students in the best possible manner, to me, is just allowing them to have access to the resources. If you know, we have this battle constantly with faculty members saying, well, you have to give students Outlook because that's what they'll use in the real world. Not true. In a major sense, it's not true. But the other thing is, conversely, we don't tell faculty that they have to work out of one particular book. You can't work out of your book because you wrote it. So, you know, to me, as long as they get their information, they'll be pretty well educated on it. Okay. Now, where they started out was, it used to be that the only people that ever had an email system was the engineering department, usually the first group on a campus to have it. Well, that also took administrators, and then what would happen is you'd have it for everybody else. So as we see for most of us, we all have separate email systems from the university, and most professional schools do. I know at Emory, the business school, School of Public Health, theology, they all have their own email systems. Okay? Well, the problem is, how do students contact all those? They have to know each person. What they're trying to do, what Novell's trying to help out with, is use one system university-wide, because you can support multiple domains under that. And if they're all under the same tree, you can use the same address book. Okay? So what happens in what they consider the anarchy of email is it's higher costs because you have multiple administrators, multiple software, multiple servers, inefficient use of hardware and other resources, locating email addresses. You know, for us at the university, it's, I can search for somebody in the law school, but, you know, does the business school use a totally different software package and I can't easily access their address book? More than likely. So what they shoot for is to build one system so that students can contact anybody through one mail client. And vice versa. You can contact students because they'll be in the tree also. Okay. Other things that they're trying to do is establish common directory infrastructure. If the whole university is using LDAP, even if they're not all using Novell servers, if they have LDAP, then boom, you have access to everybody that's in any school's address book. Consolidate the hardware. Okay, some of the schools that are using it, and Georgia State, Sam White over at Georgia State, I've talked to him pretty often because he's on the mailing list. What Georgia State did, which we thought was, you know, we were waiting for the smoke and crater 5 miles from our building. School started August whatever. 2.5 weeks into school, they said, when you come in on Monday, you'll have a new email system. Here's how you access it. Here's the paper. Have a nice weekend. They changed 30,000 users at one shot, 2 weeks into school.
What do they do with the messages in their own mailbox?
You know what? The difference is that's only students. The 30,000 are just students. If they had old mail,
Oh, so they didn't care about it.
right? The 5,000.
How convenient!
The 5,000 group-wise users. Yeah, the 5,000 group-wise users are staff and faculty.
Yeah, they're not going to see that so quickly.
Yeah. University of Kentucky, Matt DeFore, and actually he's on the next slide, I think. Matt DeFore is a great guy. He's doing a lot of stuff with the NIMS team. He actually houses their mailing list now. And he's done some really cool stuff with it, with his also. And you'll see basically they were able to consolidate Pop and Unix systems into a single campus-wide email system. 39,000 users on it. But I'll show you our web client because ours is just the basic right out of the box, which is like a tan and white color. But you can go into each template, each page is its own template, and rebuild it. And you'll see that Matt was kind enough to move it over to Kentucky colors, which would also be Duke colors.
We have a dark.
It's darker.
That's more like UNC colors.
Right. But what he did also was he created a login page so that they can have news and stuff like that on their login page. Right now, if I log into ours, we don't have a page built. It just pops up a gray login box like a standard Windows login box. But Matt has done a lot of cool stuff with it. And you can go in and recompile the templates yourself. And that's from Sam. And other institutions using NIMS, of course I put us at the top. Just, hey, I'm doing it. But, I mean, this is a worldwide product. And the guy from the Catholic Education Office in Lismore, Australia, I've talked to him many times on the list, just for different things. And, you know, some of these people have huge amounts of students.
Curious.
And accounts.
Just for contact information, I'm curious as to what Duke is using it.
No, I'm not sure. But I can find out for you and let you know.
Mind if I pronounce it?
Yeah, you can. All you have to do is search for who's got Novell. But, you know, so there are a lot of people using it. A lot of it is primary, like major university, whole campus wide. And you'll see like University of Texas, University of Iowa, just the law schools using it. I mean, Hong Kong Baptist University is using it. They've given pretty much a breakdown, and I'll make this available to CALI to put out. But they've given a little breakdown on it. Once you buy the product, once you buy the hardware, you should be able to get at least 4 years out of the system. Now, I didn't have access to the reports, but they did a test recently of speed of email systems, and the system that my Robox lives on has, I think, 179,000 users currently, and it's like a standard Dell PowerEdge 4300 with like a gig of RAM in it, and just a few huge hard drives. And I'm not sure the processor speed on it, but it was one of the fastest mail systems out. So it really doesn't slow down much with the web interface. Most people think, I know that the main university at Emory is using IMP, and it has become slow the more people on it with more messages in their mailbox. This thing actually smokes. It's actually relatively fast. In my Robox account that I keep all my conversations with the NIMS list, I have about 400 to 500 messages kept in it, and it's no slower than the one I keep on my office one, which I keep a maximum of 70 messages in the inbox. So, okay, just some collaboration solutions that they've come up with for universities. Like I said, all this presentation has been done by Novell for most universities. Single user ID for all services. If you have a Novell account, your Novell account is your NetMail account. If you change your password in Novell, you change it in NetMail. If you change it in NetMail, you change your NDS password. So it's one less thing that students have to worry about remembering. Because right now in ours, they have, until they get NIMS, is Novell, the current mail system, plus the one that the university gives them. The one the university gives them is great. It's an 8-character random generated group of letters and numbers. It makes no sense. Some of them are like GGXK38. Why am I going to remember that number? So it gives them the opportunity to change all their passwords to one thing. NIM supports tens of thousands of users per server. For us, we're at like 1,600 users overall. That includes the class that just graduated. So once they're gone, we hover right at about 1,300 users total. Okay, just some of the screenshots that they've given, and really bad on here. But this is just these. If you're using Outlook, you can schedule a meeting So this is Outlook actually connecting to the new system. And then you can't really see it, but there's an accept and a decline in each message for appointments. Didn't realize it was going to be that bad. The webmail template, and if you used MyRobox last year, did you use it initially? Wasn't that the template you had? That blue and gray, hideous looking thing?
You showed everything.
This template they stopped. Novell stopped as their primary template like almost a year ago. I just wish they'd drop support for it altogether. Just delete it out of the system. It's hideous. Nothing. You have to go, if you use folders, and I'll show you my mailbox. I use folders for everything. But folders on the webmail template are on a different page. Nothing is in the place where I'd like to see it. But the web access template is actually really clean to use. And basically, these are some of the screenshots of creating it. Now, who here is running GroupWise or Exchange? How long did it take you to configure your server?
How long to configure the server?
Yeah, to get it up and running.
You mean just getting the mail system installed on it? Yeah, I can do it in about 20 minutes. You know, but seriously, at first it took probably an hour or so.
Yeah. Now, for us, when we tested GroupWise and Exchange, it took us about a day apiece to get them up, totally configured the way we wanted them to, and then accepting mail. 25 minutes after dropping the CD in the server, we had this thing accepting mail and pushing it out to the people that needed it.
Are you saying GroupWise, Exchange?
GroupWise or Exchange.
Or Exchange, okay.
Yeah. Because we use a technology committee at Emory, so we had to show them multiple products. We showed them Exchange, we showed them GroupWise, we showed them just a basic SendMail product, and we showed them this.
So are the webmail folders INAV folders?
No, it's a standard mailbox. They're not like an iFolder.
Oh.
If you will. And basically, there's a ton of stuff that you can do inside. You can build aliases inside the NetMail system. Trying to see some of the other. You can. There's also an RBL, a real-time black hole list. So you can join like Spam Cop or somebody like that. Put in their server information and put that on your spam. That was the one great thing that I loved about my Robox account, and I use my Robox account for everything now. I have DSL at home. I don't use my DirecTV email address. I use my Robox account because I get zero spam in that account. It's a great product. Some of the solution summaries. Pays for itself, controls anarchy without giving up autonomy, creates an environment of collaborative and innovative uses. The two options down here, myrobox.com is a free account. It's like a Yahoo account, except for Yahoo gives you 6 meg. MyRobox is 10. It's not going anywhere as long as Novell is alive. And like I said, what they're looking at with the 10 meg, they've actually had people requesting 25 meg mailboxes. And they're trying to cut a deal with somebody like University of Kentucky or somebody like that who has space and wants to house 25 meg mailboxes. So you may actually have that option later. But
We set up a local client option, email the last of the local client.
I'm sorry.
Where if you set up your local client so you can pull all that stuff on your copy on your local client.
Yes, you can. I'll show you that here. I'll show you that here in a second.
I was just going to say, I was definitely interested for the University of Denver. I was talking, we're all exchanged there. And one of the options, have they added, I wanted something that for students that they had an option with everything I wanted an actual icon there that said their H drive. And it came out and installed on a test server, E-directory and this. And I wanted something that they click on it, go right to their storage.
Right to their, you mean right to their user storage?
Right. And they didn't have that yet. I thought that would just pop
No,
up.
we use that. We use that at Emory. All you have to do is it's now this is not your mail. This is your personal storage.
Logged into NIMS.
Right. Oh no, logged into Novell.
I just did this program we're talking about here when they got this right below.
Oh, you mean
right below their calendar or something like that. It said H drive or your storage or something like that. They clicked on it and then it took you right to your space on the network on the
Now, what you might want to do is post that out to the NIMS.
For attachments and stuff.
Oh, yeah, for where we want to store there, you know, bring that to our resume or something like that.
You might want to do that on the NIMS list, on that NIMS info list, because, like I said, you know, we ask questions about why the template looks this way, why it's in this configuration. They say, compile it yourself. Put whatever you want on there. If you're running eDirectory and you have iFolders in there, there should be no reason that you can't put an iFolder icon on that, in that template.
We kind of got a little drop because Novell cuts in Denver, their department from like 50 to like 2. I got emails back from everyone saying they were on their way from us. I'm still very interested on.
Yeah, but like I said, join the NIMS info. If you go out to NIMS info and join the mailing list, there's 2 lists. There's a development list and a regular, like a talk list. The talk list gets a lot of traffic from everybody. The dev list is supposed to be like a more in-depth sharing development, you know, ideas and stuff of that nature. But the regular list, if you post that out there, somebody may have already done it, or somebody can give you an idea how to do it. But like I said, if you're running Novell and you have iFolders, there should be really no reason that you can't build an iFolder icon into the template. Yeah, and that was the other thing. The nimsinfo.com. It actually started out. This product was built by Novonics, which Novell then had purchased and said, you know what, this is a pretty cool system, so we'll keep it. And so the NIMS info was where you used to get everything. It just like 3 months ago, the main Novell site started being able to dish out the NIMS updates. For whatever reason, they wouldn't do it previously, but they've decided to go ahead and do it. But from there, you can hit the FAQ. The FAQ is like 400 pages. Gives you every question that anybody's ever asked about the product, like what ports it runs on, how to configure the RBL, how to configure the spam, just all kinds of information along that line.
What do you see are the advantages of renewals over sitting on Exchange with everything without just being in Microsoft Bash?
Oh yeah, no. Overall,
certain advantage. I love the fact that it has forwarding. OWA is not. It has filtering. OWA is not. Those are great options.
Right. Well, with Exchange, it was a security issue. You know, most of them, you know, you have to build them on a Novell Microsoft server. And if I'm not mistaken, you still have to run IIS with it. It's been a while since I dealt with it, but you know, so security opens up, and the licensing is totally different. You know, I know that Microsoft is getting deeper and deeper into, you know, their per seat licenses. And if you have an MLA or a VLA with Novell, most of the time the product, most schools have like a major VLA with them. For us, it's an unlimited. So it was either we got the initial with Microsoft, and later on they were going to recharge us for how many seats we were using. So it was that, and like the overall administration stuff. I mean, this thing runs all the time. I don't hardly touch it except for to add users, and I do that through NDS. So, or aliases, because like I said, right now we're in the process of converting. So we do have a few faculty members that have odd addresses, so we do alias those over. And I do those right in the system.
Scott, you can get into this later. How good is have you messed with it, and how good is the listserv support?
It's actually really good. It's got its own, you can do it. If you have NDS lists already built, say for instance you have a group called Class 205.
No, I mean internet ones. Does it do? I thought it did internet, like it had an equivalent to listserv for the world.
You can.
Oh, okay.
But also like internal lists can be done.
Okay.
So an internal list, you know, instead of me having to create a second list for Class of 205 and then, you know, add everybody to it. If I have a group already created in NDS, I can send to that group. And what happens is if you set up your SCMS messaging, which means you say, okay, if this message goes to more than 5 people and is larger than 10K, put it in the SCMS so that you're not sending one message to everybody.
Yeah, no,
you're sending, but there is a list. There is also a list.
If Elmer wanted to move Technoids over to it, would it still have a good archive? Would it still deliver mime digests?
You know, I don't know if it'll. I don't think it'll do the digesting and have a web archive to it.
Yeah.
Right. And actually, what we're doing.
Obviously, Libris is having lots of problems.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's what we're using Mailman at the law school for all of our upcoming stuff because it will do it'll keep the web archive for us. You can manage your own subscriptions and all that kind of stuff. So, there are some nice features to it, but there are other things that you're still going to want to use an extra product for because you like the administration use of it, like Mailman. It just has great options to it.
Harold, have you seen any Novell documentation that compares this with group-wise step ahead?
That's a good question.
That's what I'm looking
Comparison group-wise.
for. Searching on their website right now isn't going to do much for it.
Go over to NIMS Info and see if there's anything there in their document section. I'm going to log into my account.
What do you write? Can you write request?
Yeah, 5.5. Going to start testing 6.
This room's got like great features, so I don't think I've been You said the DHCP, right?
Should be. Like I said, I haven't used the
I know
Windows
that.
partition on that. It might not be. No, I don't think it is.
Oh. It's here. Let's see what
It may just not be set up. It might be thinking it's still Porter on my desktop. I bet you that's it. Yeah, just set it to DHCP. I don't think it is DHCP.
Okay, this is ours. Right on our, this is mine back at Emory. I actually have a message from Tom Ryan. So, things that I found great about the system that we had before was First Class, which is now owned by Centrinity. Everything there was built in a proprietary database and you couldn't do anything easily. I like to separate all my mail out in folders because then I prioritize what I read. This does it nicely on the fly, and like I said, this web interface looks the same anywhere that you have internet access. So, we have a lot of professors. We have one that's used this from the Congo, one that will be in Barbados later. We have CEU over in Hungary and Germany. So, this is great for them. And that was one of the main requests that we had from faculty members was, how can we access our mail from outside the country with a nice interface. The old system, the interface, it wasn't intuitive, you couldn't do anything with it. So that was one of the primary things that we looked at with new systems. Each user can do certain mailbox management things on their own. These are rules. I just set rules to move mail into folders as it comes in, and it's done on the server. So if I create a rule here, and I decide that at home I'd like to use my Eudora account, and I want to connect here, all my rules are done because they're done on the server. They're not done on my local machine. Whereas Outlook, you'd have to, or Eudora, whatever, you'd have to configure it on each machine to be the same with the same rules. You do them on the server and leave them there. Proxy settings. This is great because I could proxy my Realbox account into my Emory Law account. So that means I only have to go one place to read my mail. Visiting faculty members, you're only going to be with us for a year. You're obviously getting a NetMail account because we're giving you an NDS account. We set a proxy to pull your mail. We set with AIU's mail server information to pull it off, and then we give you a rule that says, put it in the folder that says AIU. It separates all your mail. So, some really nice features to it. I'm going to see if I can log into the web admin, because you actually can administer the system over the web.
That password is?
It's not the password that's the problem, it's getting the user.
Do you do your postmaster?
I'm sorry?
Are you the postmaster?
Yeah. And I actually have an account called Postmaster. It gets all of our bounce back messages and stuff like that. And what we get is a lot of bounces are spam messages. People are just trying to attack, a miscellaneous name at law.emory.edu. And they don't work because that name doesn't exist. But it also, I have it set to not respond to incorrect mail. So they're not getting a response back. I can never remember the port to them. This is Elmer's intranet that he built for the IT department, and this is also LDAP authenticated.
Yes, he did go ahead.
Too much links. This is the tough part when you have multiple ways of logging in. Each one does it a little bit different. Okay. There it is. Okay. Through the web admin, I can actually do anything I need to with my server. I can go in, I can create a mailing list, I can go into the messaging server, alias agent. You'll see that there's already a list of local aliases that we built. I can add aliases, so I don't have to be sitting at the console or have an R console session running or anything of that nature. I can just hit it from the web. And this is actually our unsecure one, but we do have an SSL one also. This is the easiest one for me to get to.
Wait, turn on your Windows.
Here's the anti-spam agent. And for whatever reason, it doesn't show the list that we're already on. Because we do have an RBL plugged into it. You can set, I set my balances, CC the postmaster, and then if there's bounces that exceed the 30-second interval, 150, it'll actually kill the message. You can set mailbox quotas. Right now, we don't have one set. We were looking at 25 meg quotas. So all you'd have to do is, you can either do it per user or system-wide. So, some nice little features to it.
Can you use networks regulated by that, like contact?
Yeah, you can. And you'd have to, what's funny is Novell's been in this battle to get rid of NW admin and use Console 1 as your primary administrative tool. There's no Console 1 snap-ins for NIMS, and they won't make any Console 1 snap-ins. NW admin gives you all this. So what I could do is actually, if you go into a user in NW admin, then, since they have a NIMS account, there's an extra like 10 buttons towards the bottom that cover all of their other features. So I can set per user, per group NIMS settings.
Can you create that distribution groups or Lord and Novell calls it? Like they can do an exchange and set people in that group and send to it.
Mm-hmm.
These people can send to this group. These people cannot.
If if they're in the group, they can send to the group. If they're not in the group, I don't think they can send. You'd have to set it as open or unopened. So it's basically like an open list or a closed list. Any other questions on the system overall? I mean, to me, it's nice to be able to use. I'll hit the micro box again. Okay, like I said, this is Novell's free version. You can go and sign up, have your own free account, and you'll see that it tells you how long the server's been up. So 12 days ago, they rebooted the server. Now, what I find interesting is, in their news box over here, they'll actually tell us that, okay, we're testing a new feature, so if you have outages, be aware that you may have an outage, because it gets tested here before they ever send a patch out for it. So one of the features that's being added Okay. One of the things that they did was add a size line. There used to be no size to your messages, but they put that in as a request. So it hits here first, gets tested. If it kills the system, well, you're on free account anyhow, so it's one of the things that you have to deal with. But other than that, you get to see a little bit of the stuff that they're doing before it actually goes out to everybody as a patch. So when they did WAP testing, on the front page was the information that they were actually in the process of testing WAP.
Does your Novell, the group live one exchanges counterpart, does it have a web interface?
Yes.
Yes, it's this web interface. It's the same web access template getting
Looks the same.
Okay. Also on the MyRobox stats, you can see that spam blocked since the last reboot, 801,000 messages have been blocked due to spam. So, like I said, I think I've gotten one piece of spam in a year and a half of using the system. It's a pretty good ratio. Because I know in my Hotmail account, before I allowed it to expire, if I got one every hour, it was a low number. So, but all these statistics that are here in this box are actually just pulled from a Novell server. So you can set your server up if you can configure this template to be your template if you have the product, and set the statistics to come right off of your Novell server.
Can you do the kind of filtering where you routinely delete any .exe attachments, stuff like that?
I'm trying to think if there is. I'd have to check. I don't remember the attachment rules. But I think you can because you can also limit attachments by size too. So for us, we leave it at like 5 meg because we have professors that insist on sending large Word documents.
It's too late for us to use this in our current environment now. We're too far with Exchange, or schools want to go is that you're looking at an email for life solution for the law. So they keep it up. And I was wondering, can that hook up to Microsoft Active Directory with Bieber? Or I have to create all new accounts. You can't read the current accounts of that.
I think there's some part of Novell modular authentication services or iChain or something that would do
You
that.
can use personal using a network
Yeah.
connection to set your EE.
Right. You can do that. And also, I think, trying to think, like I said, since I haven't read all the stuff on 3.1, I think there is something in there with Active Directory and LDAP combined.
Also, is it still the case that if I did not say this is an option that we're going to offer you guys, can you, it used to be a little bit, I told me that I could go out there and just create my own account, or they can go out there and create their own account. I don't have to touch it.
You can do that. You can.
Other than, I guess, authorize it. It's not some go below.
But this, basically what you're doing here, by going to My Roblox and doing the sign up now, you're creating your own account, which is on their Novell server. This form is available in the NIM system, so you could build your own.
Okay, how would I distinguish the an alumni from some guy someplace else just saying, oh, come on, let's sign me up for it? Does it go into like a queue to wait to be approved before the mailbox is active?
That's a good question. I've never used the sign up agent in it, but I'm sure there would have to be, like an authentication part to it. Because I know this is an open one, but I think they do have it so that you have to authorize or to complete the sign up.
Okay, so it would go into a stage where it's just waiting for authorization from them.
Right. Yeah. I mean that would be a good use for an account for life type thing. And the good thing is, like I said, it's not major on resources. I mean, the first thing that we built on was a Red Hat 7.2 box running on a Dell Optiplex desktop, gigahertz processor with a 40 gig hard drive, and worked fine. We had like 20 people that were using it.
We were testing it of 2000.
Like I said, it doesn't support 2000 until the end of June.
Oh,
That's the
28th.
3.1 release. It's 28th of June.
Website said they released it, they announced it on the 13th.
Right, they announced it on the 13th, but the 28th is the physical release date. But it's the same thing with ZenWorks. I don't know anybody else who uses ZenWorks. I use it all the time. ZenWorks 4 has been announced, but I don't even know if there's a release date on it yet.
I haven't seen the date, but
What's that?
I haven't seen the date.
Yeah, I haven't seen the final release date, which would be nice because I think they've also included a web interface to ZenWorks for administration.
Will this be set up to pick up mail remotely via SMTP?
You can proxy your mail off of another server. Any other questions on this, or some random Novell questions?
Big question. Have you studied financial statements lately? Assistance next year?
They just
Actually,
bought Silver Screen.
They just bought Silverstream. I'm trying to think of when it was. Second quarter? Second quarter, they were one of the only tech companies that were positive. Yeah, so, I mean, it's a nice feature to have. But their stock has always been that way. It's been low, but their security is much, it's much stronger. They were the first, what was the rating? C2 was the highest security rating. I mean, they were the first C2.
Well, they got another few months back, 6 months maybe a year, they got a hot shot marketing guy that could try to consolidate their offerings and get things more focused.
Right, which is one of the things that happened with the NIMS group. The NIMS group kind of lived off on their own, rode shotgun, did what they wanted, and he was pulling the reins.
Well, still, it's human beings well without it on.
I know, but it's amazing. Like I said, we thought we get the same thing from everybody. Oh, Novell's not going to be around. Hardly any law schools use it. Why do we still use it? So Emory put out that survey, and one of the questions is, what operating system do you use? And we're seeing like 75% of law schools have Novell somewhere.
Administer large numbers of users.
They're fully owned by Cambridge Technology Park, doesn't it?
No, they own Cambridge.
Yeah, they own Cambridge. Yeah, they just bought-
Cambridge.
They bought Cambridge.
Or they merged, more or less.
Yeah,
I think.
I forget about it.
Cambridge CEO took over, right?
No.
Who's
Oh,
the-
Novell.
Eric left, so
Yeah, Eric Schmidt left.
That I know.
I can't remember who.
But it's more of a merger, I think.
Right, and who was the last one they just bought? Silver.
They bought Silverstream, or at least they announced that they bought it in the last week or two.
Any other questions? About 5 minutes early. If you want to hang out, ask questions, go right ahead. If not, have a nice day.